But let's start with the impeachment mess as we look ahead to the Senate trial. My next guest continues to fight endlessly for President Trump and the truth amid this endless barrage of nonsense from the Democrats. Member of House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Matt Gaetz joins me now. All right, Congressman, thanks for being with us. So, you know, as all of this is unfolded, I want to look back before we look forward to the Senate and what's going to happen in the new year. But clearly, this impeachment, and Nancy Pelosi answered a press question and said, actually, that she's been working on impeachment for 2.5 years. So I guess she has pretty much admitted that this is not something that just came up because of Ukraine.
That's right, Judge. The radical left Democrats filled the stockings of their anti-Trump base with rumor and innuendo and ultimately impeachment. But the rest of America, we just got a lump of coal. We didn't get an infrastructure bill. We didn't get reform to our asylum systems because Nancy Pelosi has been planning this impeachment since the moment she took power. Matter of fact, Jerry Nadler, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, even campaigned to his fellow Democrats on the notion that he would be the person to bring us to this point. But the real question, Judge, is why Democrats failed to meet the standard they set for themselves. They promised us a bipartisan impeachment. In reality, the only bipartisan vote was a bipartisan vote against impeachment. They promised us that these hearings would animate a lot of public support for impeachment, and we haven't seen that either. The American people hate this, and if Congress continues it, they may end up hating us.
Well, in the end, I mean, truthfully, I think Congress moved quickly toward the end of the year simply because they realize that the support for impeachment is almost right now, especially among the independents and those in the middle, it is just declining day after day. So I think that they made a decision, well, let's end this soon because it's starting to look bad for us. But let's talk about, in light of what you've been through and the fact that the president was not able to present a case and cross-examine witnesses and issue rebuttal and all the things that all the other presidents have been entitled to do, in addition to the fact that this was something not brought by an independent counsel, but by one party against this president. Do you think that things will change in the Senate? How do you think they're going to handle it over there?
I know the president wants an extended trial in the Senate, so he has the opportunity to present a lot of evidence. But, Judge, if this were a case in your court brought by any party, you would dismiss it on a motion to dismiss or a motion for summary judgment immediately.
Yep.
And the reason you would do that is because it's not worth judicial labor just for someone to spike the football when the other side hasn't made their case. As we sit here before you now, Democrats failed to produce direct evidence. They failed to get the public on their side. There was no quid pro quo. Matter of fact, the only direct evidence was the president saying he did not want anything other than President Zelensky to do the right thing, to do the work that he had campaigned on. And so if I were in the Senate, I'd be looking to get this nonsense behind us and get on to the work of the Trump agenda.
But there are people who say, look, the Republicans have been treated like garbage by the House. They've thrown away all the rules, not just in Congress, but of due process. They have denied this president everything that every other president has been given. This is totally partisan. It predicts, it is a blueprint for any major party throwing out a president of the opposite party. And so maybe it's time to pull take away the veil and to identify the whistleblower, to get Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. I'm all in favor of that. Adam Schiff, I want to know when you got this case. I want to know who you told about it. I want to know what your relationship is with the whistleblower, and on and on. I think the American public is entitled to that, and we don't have to go on and on for months. But don't you think honesty and transparency is important?
Those are all reasonable questions. They were reasonable questions when the president asked them specifically about the Bidens and Burisma and the corrupt activities that they were engaged in globally. But we can conduct oversight in the absence of impeachment. Here's how I do it if I were Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. Step one, impeachment is dead, off the table, over. Let the president and his administration continue their great work for the country. Step two, let's hold some oversight hearings in the Judiciary Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee. Let's find out the extent to which we may have had a U.S. administration in the Obama-Biden administration actually cheating, actually participating in a shakedown scheme where we were selling access based on where a member of the second family had an unexplained employment agreement. And so I think that if we were able to do that, we free up the president to go do the great work of the country, and then we can actually get the answers that to the questions you have very reasonably raised.
But you know, if you recall back a few weeks ago, I mean, they decided in Judiciary not to take the vote at night because they wanted the vote to be in the morning so all America could see it. I mean, isn't that a good argument to at least get it into the Senate? I mean, with all due respect, the Senate dealing with impeachment is going to get a little more attention than oversight. Wouldn't you agree, Congressman?
Well, I think that if Lindsey Graham brings Hunter Biden before his Judiciary Committee, it won't matter whether it's an impeachment proceeding or an oversight proceeding. I think we'll all be tuning in. But, you know, where I'm from, they call that all hat and no cattle. And that's certainly what we saw from House Democrats. Everything they did, from the theatrical performance of Adam Schiff of a fake transcript to Jerry Nadler playing all kind of weird games about the timing of the vote, the whole deal was driven for television consumption because they had no actual evidence.
It's very sad. And honestly, I mean, I think a lot of Americans want to get back to the business of doing America's business. And you know, I do too. But, you know, there's also a part of me that said, you tried to take this man down that we put in office, and shame on you. But anyway, Congressman Matt Gaetz, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. All right.